Hello, everyone. I'm Jen, and I am the founder of Silver Wheel Coaching. I am a burnout coach. I work with small business owners on burnout, and then I also have a new program where I am working with mental health and trauma addiction facilities and practitioners to address and eradicate burnout and the problem of vicarious trauma, which comes not only when we're working in mental health and addiction recovery, but so many other fields as well. And that's part of my big why I'm here today is because I spent years working at a trauma recovery center, and I was trying to avoid burnout because I started feeling those worldview and mental shifts happening that were making me lose my passion and my compassion for my clients. And so I jumped into reading all the research that I could get my hands on back in 2017. And it's such a problem when we're working in any area where we are helping others but are exposed to their trauma, or we're exposed to a lot of death, and we lose our compassion for those we're working with, and we lose our passion for what we do. And none of us got into this work because we didn't care. And so that's why I'm here today, is to remind us all that, like, let's keep that spark alive. So I'm happy to join all these amazing other people here today. Thank you. I love that everyone here is challenging like the standard beliefs about burnout. And that's part of what I'd like to talk about as well. As I mentioned before, I was working in a trauma recovery center where I also lived on site to help clients after hours. And everyone I worked with talked about, beware of burnout, but no one could actually tell me what to do about it. And that's why I jumped into the available research. Now, the available research back in 2016, 2017 insisted that burnout was strictly work related. And I knew from experience and from people who I knew that that wasn't true. And this is what several other speakers have spoken to. Because back in '07, my former partner and I had bought a house. I started a small business, and I was still working another job to help support me while the business took off. But we all know what happened in '08. And so as the Great Recession hit, my business floundered. My other place I was working for was struggling, so I wasn't making any money. So I picked up a third job. And in the meantime, my partner started having health issues, so I was helping take care of them. And so they weren't working either very much. And then, just to make life even more interesting, my mom had just retired, moved back to Colorado to be closer to me, and was diagnosed with late stage cancer. And so I found myself, someone who had worked since she was 14 years old, suddenly on unemployment because every business I worked for went out of business. And I remember the moment I hit the wall, and I had updated my unemployment claim for the week. I hit submit and I went, I'm done. I quit. I can't do it anymore. And that's the extreme version of burnout. And that was not entirely work related. That was grief related, trauma related, everything in life related. And so I struggled with that when I was reading through the research. And I think that's one of the things that came out of COVID, is this understanding that burnout is life related as much as work related. So we need this more holistic view of burnout, looking at our current and previous traumas and grief, everything going on in our life, and where we're needing the more boundaries. So it's a holistic issue, not just work. But getting back to work, we also need to remember, as several people have mentioned, that burnout is not just on the employee. There are work issues. Sometimes it's a structural issue. Sometimes it's just a workplace hazard, whether it's, mental health care, whether it's, the medical field or veterinary field, or even in the tech field. There's so many places where burnout and vicarious trauma are just a workplace hazard, and we need to learn how to support within that structure, because burnout and vicarious trauma are also contagious, and they can spread even when there's not a structural issue. And another thing that a lot of workplaces try to do is they come in with a two hour or a half day workshop, that is just supposed to suddenly magically fix everything. Well, we can get a lot out of that workshop, but a 2-hour presentation is not going to fix a chronic condition. And so we need to treat it as, we need more programs like the ones that I do that come in weekly and reinforce these new habits so that we can overcome this chronic condition. And a couple of ideas I have for managers and even employees is one of the things that is lacking a lot of times when we're starting to struggle with burnout is validation and gratitude. And so whether you're a manager or just another employee, go to a coworker, go to one of your employees and just pull them aside and say, thank you. You did great on this. No constructive criticism, no, oh, we also have these 10,000 other deadlines. Just, hey, wow, that presentation was awesome. And wow. So that's one thing, is just practicing gratitude with employees and coworkers, as well as the other people in our lives, because we also forget to do with our partners, our children, our parents. Another workplace suggestion is another thing that can lead to burnout is a lack of clear expectations and a lack of understanding what a good job actually is. So really clarifying our expectations of others is really important. And one last little tip that I love, and it sounds like a little foofy to some people, so I encourage you to try this. This works anytime, whether you're, in an argument with your child, whether you have a really difficult client in front of you, even if you're in a meeting and there's things going on that are activating your nervous system. Just sit there, and as you're breathing, focus on your breath and think, I breathe in love for me and I breathe out love for you. And do this a few times, belly breathing the whole time from your diaphragm, and it will really shift your energy. So thank you, everyone.